Golf Pick'em Expert Picks, brought to you by FootJoy.
It is uncharted territory this week on the PGA Tour as we head to South Carolina for the brand new inaugural Palmetto Championship, and we're here to break down the action in the Golf Pick'em game in the NBC Sports Predictor app. You know the drill by now. Pick your winner in 10 head-to-head matchups, pick a tournament winner and a winning score. You can compete for $1,000 in guaranteed prizes, $50,000 up for grabs for a perfect score. The U.S. Open is on deck, but this week we're talking about Congaree Golf Club, a new venue, new course, and leading the way is the world number one. It's a marquee matchup, Dustin Johnson against Brooks Koepka. We don't have any course history to go off of at Congaree, but it is a brawny layout, over 7,600 yards, par 71, a lot of drivers in play on a course that resembles Australian Sandbelt golf. So which way do you lean here with this matchup? DJ has not been the same player since February. Coming off a missed cut at the PGA Championship, we know what Brooks Koepka did at Kizzire, nearly hanging with Phil Mickelson right to the end, but he did finish second. I'm going to go with the hot hand. Koepka made headlines last week at the Memorial without playing golf. I think he makes headlines with his golf game this week at Congaree. Expect a big week out of the four-time major champ. A pair of Englishmen, a pair of Ryder Cup veterans here in Ian Poulter and Matthew Fitzpatrick going head-to-head at Congaree. Poulter is 45 years young, but he's holding his own against players nearly half his age with 5 top 30 finishes in his last 7 starts, including a T3 finish a couple weeks ago at Colonial. Fitzpatrick, another guy who is very solid tee to green and maybe even better on and around those greens. I love what he has done in the state of South Carolina this year. A T4 finish at the RBC Heritage, one of his favorite courses at Harbortown. He followed that with a T23 finish at the PGA Championship at Kizzire. I think both of these guys could be in the mix for a big week against a relatively weak field, but given the choice, I'm going to give the edge to Matt Fitzpatrick. Don't be surprised if the former U.S. Amateur champ contends this week for what would be his first PGA Tour title. This next matchup features 2 players heading in the right direction, Alex Noren and Patton Kizzire. Noren made that European Ryder Cup team back in 2018 and then kind of fell off the map, but he is really making strides in recent weeks. 4 top 25 finishes in his last 5 starts. Seems like a really good fit for a very long and demanding test this week at Congaree. Meanwhile, Kizzire, he won twice during that 2018 season and then, like Noren, kind of drifted a bit. But in recent weeks, he has come back with a vengeance. T3 finish at the Nelson, T3 finish at Colonial, and I think Patton Kizzire is trending in the right direction to get that 3rd PGA Tour win very soon. Could come as early as this week, and I think given the options, I'm going to give him the edge over Alex Noren in this matchup. We can't talk about the Palmetto Championship without a Palmetto State showdown. Lucas Glover against Kevin Kisner, 2 natives of South Carolina. We start with the U.S. Open champ from 2009, who's played some good golf in recent weeks. A top 10 finish at the Valero Texas Open, and he also finished T8 a couple weeks ago at Colonial, not to mention a T37 last week at the Memorial. Kevin Kisner, we know what he can do in the match play bracket. He hasn't really translated that to stroke play in recent weeks, had missed 4 straight cuts before a T40 finish a couple weeks ago in Fort Worth. Very few players in the field have as much experience at Congaree as Lucas Glover, but I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to take Kevin Kisner on Bermuda greens the week before a major. I think that he could rise to the occasion and really end a rough patch with a big result this week in his home state. All right, those are my picks for some of the marquee head-to-head matchups. But remember, in the Golf Pick'em game, NBC Sports Predictor app, you got to make picks for all 10 matchups, plus a tournament winner and a winning score. This week, we've already talked about the guy that I think is going to win the tournament, and that is Patton Kizzire. I love his package that he's going to be bringing to Congaree this week. Very strong in greens and regulation, very strong putter, one of the top 12 on tour this season. And I think that those T3 finishes over the last couple weeks are going to help catapult him to his 3rd career tour victory. So remember, make your picks in the NBC Sports Predictor app for Golf Pick'em and the Palmetto Championship. You could compete for $1,000 in guaranteed prizes, $50,000 up for grabs for a perfect score. We'll see you next week.